All right, good day, people. All right, so some of you heard of the news that Chainlink basically has partnered up with the U.S. government to basically publish the economic data on chain. All right, so of course this initiative is done, all right, to boost the transparency for government spending. All right, so the U.S. government has tapped Chainlink, which is an Oracle provider. All right, so if you don't know what an Oracle provider is, Oracle is essentially when you're watching, I don't know, the Weather Channel. You're looking at an app, you're looking at a sports game, and you get the scores. Well, those games, if they're live, how do you communicate what the score is, what's going on? When we check the scores on ESPN, there has to be something that's communicating with that. So in the blockchain world, the blockchain is separated from the real world. Chainlink bridges that. So they create oracles where you now can take real world data and it can communicates with the blockchain. All right, and so that's basically what Chainlink is all about. You have to have Oracle where now you can take real world data and you can now it can communicate with the blockchain. So it creates a whole different ecosystem. So it's actually, genius is because a lot of blockchain projects, they all sound similar. They're all trying to do the same thing. When it first started out, everybody was talking about the transactional speed, how many transactions you could do per second, all those things like that. But needless to say, Oracles is a great arena. Hash graph technology is another, which is Hedera. We're going to talk about Hedera, and that's mainly what the video is about, is that a lot of people focus on Chainlink, but they forget Hedera is doing some things, and basically by proximity of Chainlink having this partnership, by proximity, Hedera can also position itself to win as well too. Now, speaking of that, back in May 19th of 2021, we see here that Chainlink Labs, Furthest Enterprise Focus, joins the Hedera Governing Council. All right, remember I said proximity? Here we go. So, of course, Chainlink is a leading Oracle solution, so they join the Hedera Council, all right, and they're going to oversee the distributed governance of the Hedera network. All right, so Chainlink and Hedera will implement a series of initiatives aimed at helping traditional centralized financial services and other organizations harness the distributed computational trust, visibility, and control that decentralized applications offer. All right, so that is a key. They've already been working together for the most part, right? Now, if we go over here and you look at Hedera's council, you clearly see you got Chainlink Labs sitting right here. Of course, you got Google, you got IBM, you got LG, you got Ubisoft. So it's a pretty good heavy, you got Dell Technologies, heavy hitters that are here working together. And then you go down here, you're going to see some of these, what they call the ecosystem participants, all right? And so this is called the Hedera Improvement Proposals. All right. Now, with these, you got people like EQTY Lab. I want you to pay attention to EQTY Lab. All right. You're going to see again about proximity. All right. So, EQTY Lab also partners with Intel and Nvidia. All right. So, for verifiable compute a solution to secure, trusted AI. So it's the first ever certificates of authenticity and compliance for independent verification of AI training, inference, and benchmarks at runtime. So the solution delivers on Silicon real-time governance, the industry first created from 2 years of intensive research joined by advisors at Stanford and MIT. Right? And so you see right here with EQTY Labs in collaboration with Intel and Nvidia, All right, they announced this. So it's going to be a significant leap forward, ensuring that AI is explainable, accountable, and secure at runtime. So it gives consumers and businesses new confidence to accelerate AI adoption and development. So it's all about infrastructure. Well, look, guys, remember proximity. Who is working with EQTY Labs? HBAR, right here. Right there. They're there, right? All right. Keep going. Now, let's see what else we got. All right, here goes EQTY Labs. So you can go on this site and see about AI integrity. Begins here. All right. And then it talks about up here, EQTY Labs pioneers verifiable compute on Nvidia Blackwell architecture. So this is the integration that you would really want to see. And remember, proximity, right? They're real close by, okay? Now, what is this? We got to look at, all right, so this is back in July. Banks, governments, and Google are actively building on hashgraph tech. Why HBAR thrives in 2025. All right. So, of course, talks about provides fast, low-cost consensus, finality, in seconds, near zero fees. It powers live use cases and CBDCs. And we know we've been talking about that in the past. NFTs, AI, and tokenized real estate. Institutions like Google, IBM, and Reserve Bank of Australia are using or testing HBAR. HBAR adoption is growing quietly through infrastructure, not hype. This is very key. Growing quietly. That is what we want. Right now, Chainlink, it popped to the upside. Everybody's excited. It is what it is. But the biggest thing is you got to understand proximity. There's a lot of projects that are doing some great work underneath and has not popped that can really go. And of course, I talked about Chainlink a few years ago. Okay? So you guys got to really understand is that a lot of these are primed to be a later on blue chip type crypto projects in the future. I need you to be thinking 4, 5, even 10 years down the road. Because y'all know that event that happened in 2020? That was 5 years ago, guys. You see how fast that went by? So another 5, which will be 2030, can really come quickly. And where will we be? Okay? So here we go. So while most associate the term blockchain with Bitcoin or Ethereum, a different project has become a preferred option for government. What did I say? Proximity. Banks, tech, corporations, HBAR hashgraph. Where there's smoke, there's what? You get it. HBAR isn't built on traditional blockchain, which I've told you guys in previous videos. I like disruptive technologies. Blockchain is one, but HBAR is not a blockchain. It's a hash graph technology that uses the DAG. It's different, but it's sort of in the native of fields of a distributive ledger, but it's a different type, and that's what you need. You need that. That's competition. So blockchain is not the only one. All right. So, of course, it talks about how HBAR was created. It's governed by the Council of 39 global organizations. That's really good. All right. And it has quality advanced across key sectors. In recent moves, EQTY Labs, see that name come up again, deployed its verifiable compute platform on Nvidia's Blackwell chips. Look at the proximity. Just not like projects that just, Nvidia just over there, Intel is just over there, Chainlink is just over there, the government just over there. No, they're all in a web and they're working together. I need you guys to see this. Look at this. This momentum in both tokenization and AI isn't isolated. It reflects the broader shift where DLT, which is the distributed ledger technology, that's what DLT stands for, is becoming the trust layer for mission critical applications. Hedera has a key role in this moment. Grayscale, the world's largest digital asset-focused investment platform, has added HBAR to the Grayscale smart contract fund. Same thing. Where there's smoke, you get it. All right. Now, look at this SEC stuff. Now, this is a little old, but it was in June. SEC extends review for Polkadot and Hedera ETFs. All right. So they delayed its decision on the approval of Hedera, basically, ETF, extending the review period for these significant proposals. This delay underscores the SEC's cautious approach of crypto ETF approvals as it seeks additional time to analyze market implications and gather public feedback on the filings. All right, so the extended this phase allows for a more thorough examination and proposed rule changes, reflecting the agency's commitment to regulatory diligence in the evolving crypto landscape. All right, and so I'm thinking that this is supposed to be in September, by September 9th is when they're supposed to, here you go. So they retains authority to delay in its decision up to 4 times before issuing final ruling, with the next critical deadline set for September 9th, 2025. This extended timeline provides additional opportunities for public commentary and regulatory analysis, ensuring that the SEC decision is grounded in comprehensive market understanding. Okay? Now, I'm not telling you that you're supposed to be just going over here and just buy and just invest in Hedera just based off of that. But once again, where there is smoke, there is exactly. Now, with this trying to become a ETF, partnerships, Chainlink, Intel, Nvidia, Google. If you think about all that's what's happening, right? Hedera is building a monster. Okay? Look at the total transactions on the mainnet. Look at how many transactions in the last 24 hours. All right? Look at the ecosystem. They got the Hedera ecosystem, NFT wallet, development tool, partner program. All right, here are your use cases. You got AI Studio, Asset Tokenization Studio, Stablecoin Studio, Hedera Guardian, Data Integrity and AI, Real World Asset Tokenization, Decentralized Identity, DeFi, Payments, Sustainability, Consumer Engagement and Loyalty, Decentralized Logs, NFTs. All this stuff is here. You can click it, you can go deeper into, you can understand about what they're doing with the real world assets. Security, compliance, thriving tokenized economies. Hashgraph technology is very difficult to breach, security-wise. They empower efficient creation of diverse asset types, unlocking trillions in illiquid assets while providing enterprises and developers with robust tools to drive evolution of the financial markets. You got 2 billion plus Hedera ecosystem market cap. You got 50 million plus tokenized assets. Transaction fee 0.001. of a set. You have regulatory compliance. You got low and predictable fees. Trusted, transparent data. Look at Aberdeen, right? Big in the asset field. A partner with Hedera, we can make previously restricted asset classes acceptable to a wider range of investors. This aligns perfectly with our commitment. So so let's look at Aberdeen. Let's look at, I guess, the case study. All right, this case study. So Aberdeen is using distributed ledger technology to democratize investment opportunities and increase financial inclusion, from unlocking wider participation for smaller investors to increasing liquidity for many asset classes and streaming process. So here you can look at, we can go to Aberdeen, did I even say that name? Yeah, Aberdeen website. And so basically it's an investment company. All right, and they're pretty big. I don't know how many assets under management that they have, so we'll have to go and check that out. See. All right, they're managing 500 billion in assets for our clients, and you just see how they are what? Working with Hedera Hashgraph. So all that money, they're going to use the technology of Hedera to tokenize those real estate, collectibles, or whatever, art, and it's going to be powered by the Hedera system. So Hedera is more of an infrastructure, or more of an ecosystem play, and I think exposure to that should be a no-brainer. A lot of some of the assets that we probably do own in cryptos, they're not ecosystem assets, meaning that you take Ethereum and like you got Shi Inu is a token. It's not a crypto. It's not a coin. Ethereum is a coin. Hedera is a coin. It's not a token. Tokens are built under an ecosystem. XRP is on their own blockchain. That's a coin. Bitcoin is a coin. Dogecoin is a token. Why? Is because Dogecoin's protocol is built under the same underlying technology for Bitcoin. It's built under that. So these are more of your infrastructural, ecosystem-based assets. All right. So, like I said, by partnering with them, they can do a whole lot of things. All right. And of course, they talked about innovation. All right. It gives them how they're doing this. They're constantly exploring new technologies like distributed ledger technology, artificial intelligence, and how they can implement these into their business, to both improve their internal processes as create innovative investment solutions for their clients. All right, boom, and then democratization of through tokenization. All right, so small individual investors are often unable to take advantage of some of the same investment opportunities as high value institutional and accredited investors. Aberdeen is bucking this trend by tokenizing a portion of their 20 billion plus money market fund range on a Hedera public network. There we go. So they have what? A 20 billion money market fund that they are trying to tokenize a portion of on Hedera network. That is use case. I need you guys to get out of the price of Hedera, whether it's 24 cents, whether it's $2 or $3. I need you to get into the mindset of what does 2030 look like? What does 2035 look like? This is because in 2020, all right, let's go back and let's look. All right, so in 2020, and a lot of they had a lot of good little projects and partnerships, but in 2020, all right, my battery gone, so I'm going to have to get up out of here quick. All right, 2020 in January, the thing was 0.00914 of a cent, guys. All right. So from this all the way up to where we are now, that's a 2,407% gain where we at. And of course, if we went all the way up into these highs of 57 cent back in 2021 of September, that was a 6,000% gain that happened within 5 years, guys. 5 years. And you see how slow, you see how you probably didn't think nothing about no HBAR. You ain't thinking about it. And it's the weekly calendar. But you mean to tell me this thing was sitting at that price point, and even at this price, at these price point, 1 cent, somewhere in here, all these, this over here, 3 cent, it came back down here, 3 cent again. We're down here at 4 cent. We're range bound. We all in this area, and you mean to tell me, for what the technology is going to be, I'm allowing you to see the price, but I need you to see the time. This is 5 years worth. So what would the next 5 look like? Even if it comes down, who cares? Because this should have been lovely loading. This should have been lovely loading. This should have been lovely loading, but so many people get caught up into price and not understanding what is the underlying technology. What are they doing? Don't be like me when I saw Bitcoin at $600 and say, it's gonna be too much. Come on. If I just bought one for 600, we'll be well over 6 figures, right? Y'all get what I'm saying? So all I'm saying is that you got to start looking at a lot of these projects and stop looking at the price so much and understanding it's a disruptive technology. The price will work itself out over time, but get your times down. Even if you're investing today, you got to be careful of, I'm just thinking about now. It shot up 10x, man. I'm just gonna liquidate everything. Like, if that's your plan, it's your plan. But you need to understand it. Are you in this thing for the long haul? And I keep saying this over and over again. A lot of you guys are trying to use the markets to either get out of a 9 to 5, to do whatever you're trying to escape. Yeah, I get it. But if I were a lot of you, and this is not financial advice, this is what I would do. Go get the second job. Shit, go get the third. Whatever you got to go do, go find ways you can generate revenue so that you can put a certain percentage in it, and now you can invest, and now you're not in a hurry to try to escape your 9 to 5s. It's because what happens is you get antsy and you realize that, I'm liquidating too much of my assets. It's because I'm trying to get out of something. Where you can now say, no, let me trade my time. Let me trade my time. Let me grind. Because think about it. What if in 5 years someone would have just got a second job and said that I'm going to commit 30% of the income that I generate from the second job? Let's just say it was as modest $1,000 you made extra after taxes. That means $300 is going in per month into some crypto projects. You do that over the course of 5 years, guys. We're talking. That is what? $3,600 a year, right? Times 5, you put $18,000 in, and we're just being modest at 30%. If you make an extra $1,000 working part time, $300 go in on that, and at 18. Imagine what that could have been. Just think about that.